Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am receiving a phone call from the United Arab Emirates. Anyways, uh, I'm hiding upstairs in one of the kids' rooms. I've been trying to film this vlog for days now, and I'm just gonna do it, but it is like utter chaos downstairs right now. The kids are home from school because I don't know, like it rained last night or something. So the road conditions weren't great. They canceled buses, whatever. But they are just full of energy downstairs. And I just want to quickly get this vlog out. I had my 37-week appointment the other day. And my OB is on vacation. And so I had to see one of the other OBs in the office. And I'd never actually met this OB, and he was really nice. He really is really nice. It was like, I think it was like the quickest appointment I've ever had. But last weekend, over the weekend, I was having some really weird symptoms that I think I don't know. I've never been diagnosed with high blood pressure or anything. I did have to be induced due to high blood pressure with Joseph back in 2019, and I was 39 weeks then. And when I took my blood pressure at this office, the first time I took it, it was 139 over 76. So the top number is borderline high, because if it's over 140, they want you to take it again. But the bottom number wasn't all that high, because normally for them, the red alarm is 140 over 90. Anyways, so point being, he said your blood pressure is a bit high, but nothing that he has to investigate. But so over the weekend though, I was experiencing chest pressure. It wasn't pain. I've had chest pains that I almost call them back in the day. I used to smoke. And so there would be times I'd almost feel like I was having a mini heart attack. And it's nothing like that. It's not a sharp pain. This pain would happen when I was inhaling. But on the weekend, it was just a weird pressure that would affect my lungs and things like that. And it wasn't bad enough that I was oh, I definitely need to go in. But it was concerning enough that I was monitoring it, thinking about it, noting when it happened, things like that. And then the other thing I was noticing was a headache. And I would guzzle water when I'd get these headaches and stuff. And it didn't matter what I did, the headache really wouldn't go away or anything like that. So that was a bit concerning to me, because I know with preeclampsia, you can get headaches, nausea, dizziness, change in vision, all this stuff. So just the fact that I feel like I may have had a couple of symptoms over the weekend related to preeclampsia, but this is not an excuse, but we were kind of busy over the weekend. And I just wanted, I was monitoring it so that if the symptoms got worse, I would definitely go into the hospital. But they were okay at that point. You know what I mean? They weren't terrible. It wasn't a debilitating headache. It did kind of come and go throughout the day, so it wasn't just a constant headache. So I just didn't think that it kind of really fit the criteria of preeclampsia. But my OB, the OB, he kind of gave me crap. He was like, just call in. You know what I mean? Call in, tell us what's going on, and we'll let you know if we want you to come in or not. Oh my goodness. Joseph really enjoys screaming lately, and the kids really enjoy wearing masks and then scaring him to make him scream. Anyways, so that was kind of number one, where he was like, no. If you feel these symptoms again, come in or call in and we'll figure it out. And then I actually lost a pound between last week and this week. Or maybe it's been 2 weeks. No, I think it was last week to this week. But I lost a pound, which I did some research, and apparently near the end of your pregnancy, when you're pretty much ready to go into labor, it's possible to plateau and lose weight. So I was like, maybe things are happening. And then he talked to me about how starting at 38 weeks, they will offer checks and stretch and sweeps, which I'm totally okay with, because number one, the fact that the baby's been measuring big concerns me in the aspects that, like, I don't know if it's just like ready to go, what's going on. I'm just like concerned at the fact that the baby is measuring big. My OB just keeps telling me relax, it's just due to positioning, and that the baby, like, although your belly is measuring big, the baby itself really isn't measuring all that big, kind of thing. So I was like, oh, okay. But I'm always up for stretch and sweeps to go into natural labor and not have to be induced. I've been induced 3 times and I despise Pitocin. So anything to avoid that, I'm happy with. So he said, yeah. So he said, you know, starting next week, they'll offer it. The OB that I'm seeing next week was not him. My OB's still on vacation. I'm seeing the 3rd OB that's at the clinic. And so he said that if she isn't going to offer the stretch and sweep, that I can just stick around and he'll do it for me, no problem. But the one thing that I found kind of weird was that he basically, like, straight off the bat was like, oh, have you talked to your OB about an induction? And I was like, no, trying really hard to avoid an induction, actually. And then when he measured my belly and he said, oh, you're measuring big, you should really talk to your OB about having an induction on your due date and not going past that. It kind of, like, not raised a red flag, because I'm sure he's doing it kind of like out of, you know, well-being and whatnot. I mostly trust the medical society. Mostly, I say. There are some things that I do not enjoy being pushed upon me. But anyways, I was like, well, I don't know, like, we'll see. Like I said, I'm trying to avoid an induction at this point. And the discussions I've had with my OB regarding the baby measuring big and it just being positioning makes me think that I'd be okay to go to 41 weeks. I don't want to go past 41 weeks, though. That is my limit. I went beyond 41 weeks with Jonathan. I did go into labor naturally with Jonathan, with contractions and all that stuff. But there was meconium, and that, like, to me, I was like, nope. I've read a lot about the fact that when people go past 41 weeks, there's more chances of the baby passing meconium in the womb, and he actually had it in his mouth. So I was like, no. I have just, now it's just my thing. I'm not going past 41 weeks. So I'm just kind of, like, weirded out that he literally was like, the OB was like, no, you should really talk about an induction on your due date. I'm like, just not up for that. I don't want to. And then in the days since, so that was Monday that I had my 37-week appointment. It's Thursday. And in the days between then and now, I feel like things have been happening. Symptom-wise, I'm getting crazy Braxton Hicks contractions. Ever since I was like 22 weeks pregnant, I've been having Braxton Hicks, and I drink a lot of water. So I'm kind of just surprised that I get them. I've never had them before with any other pregnancy. I can tell the difference between, like, the baby just kind of like pushing out and an actual contraction. So I really don't like having Braxton Hicks contractions, because it's like you're getting all these contractions throughout the day and you're like, is it a real one or is it a fake one? Like, I don't know. So that's annoying. That's really annoying, especially at this stage at 37 weeks. I'm 38 weeks tomorrow, and that's happening, like, even more. So I'm like, oh my goodness, stop. So it just makes it harder to know whether it's actually a real contraction or not. I know, like, with Jonathan, I felt real contractions, but he's turning 8 this year. So that was 8 years ago. So I don't really remember all that much with contractions, because, like, I had epidurals when I had inductions because I was not dealing with Pitocin contractions. So, and those are just disgusting. So, yeah, that's kind of what we're dealing with. Things happening, though, between my appointment and now. I definitely feel things happening down there. There's been no, like, shows or anything like that. But I've woken up in the middle of the night at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I mean, I don't really know if it is like my cervix, but it felt sore, like it hurt. And I was like, hey, like, what are you playing, like, you know, noggin knockers with it or something? Because, like, it was like super sore one night randomly in the middle of the night. I, like, when I woke up, I thought perhaps, like, I was having contractions, because, like, yeah, my cervix was hurting. And then, which is weird because I've never, like, felt that before. I've never felt my cervix. So I think perhaps I might be dilating. But here's the crappy part. I turn 38 weeks tomorrow, And my next OB appointment is not until next Thursday, which is the day before I turn 39 weeks. So I'm going to have no idea how far along I am in all of this until I'm basically 39 weeks. And then if I went by that OB's advice of being induced on my due date, there's not going to be much being done between being 39 weeks and 40 weeks because, like I said, my next OB appointment is the day before I turn 39 weeks. And if I get a stretch and sweep done that day, and then my following appointment is Tuesday, it's like Thursday to Tuesday. And then I have like my 39-week appointment that day and have another stretch and sweep. And then I turn 40 weeks on the Friday. And then the good thing though, is my OB is back for that Tuesday appointment. So I'm seeing another OB next Thursday, so a week from today. So I mean, we'll see if anything happens between now and the time I see my OB. I'm planning on at least just scheduling an induction for the 41-week mark. I know you can go beyond that. It's just beyond my personal preferences to go beyond 41 weeks just because of what happened with Jonathan. Like he was covered in meconium and it was in his mouth and they were like pulling it out and wiping it out. And I just was not comfortable with that personally. But I know it is safe to go like up to 42 weeks. Some women even go to 43 weeks. That's just not within my comfort level though. So essentially I'm thinking starting next Friday when I turn 39 weeks, I will start doing more things to help naturally induce labor if I have not gone into labor by then. I will post some links on my blog as to like what I plan on doing. But essentially I think between like basically this week and next week, I'm just going to go great guns at trying to rearrange the house because I've been saying in blogs and vlogs, that's funny. But on my blog, I put this whole post up about starting a cleaning habit, which also originated from trying to rearrange the house because we want to put an exercise room in downstairs. So upon saying that, I mentioned that to my mom on how we wanted to put an exercise room in. And she actually has a treadmill and she doesn't use her treadmill. And she said that, you know, if we wanted to have the treadmill to put into the exercise room, since she doesn't use it and she wants to actually turn that room into a craft room because she's really into crafts and stuff like that, it would basically be like a win-win because then she'd have the room for a craft room and we can have the treadmill. So I'm thinking if I go great ham and focus on getting the house rearranged and being able to put the treadmill, like, so before we put the treadmill in, the back room, playroom has to be completely emptied and then we can put the treadmill in. And then I can kind of sort of finish going and rearranging the rest of the house at that point. But if I just focus this week on getting the house completely ready to be able to have that treadmill put in, then when I'm 39 weeks, and if I haven't gone into labor, I can do a lot of walking and get this baby out because it is February and there is tons of snow out and ice and all that stuff. So I can't even go outside to walk. My option would be like walking laps of my house. So I definitely want to get walking, but I have to get the exercise room figured out before then. So, hi baby. So that is the 37-week appointment update. Not much has really happened. I kind of wish like he would have offered to like check and see if things were happening because I felt like things might have been happening beforehand. I don't know. I definitely have felt things happening between Monday and today though, which is Thursday. So anyways, now that I have been found and my hiding spot is no longer a hiding spot, we're going to go start reorganizing the house. Yeah. And your face is covered in oranges. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to go and get some work done, stay active, work up a sweat, and hopefully get this exercise room figured out before the baby comes, because then it would be super fun to have a treadmill for after the baby comes so I can go on some nice subtle walks. And I have to go play referee downstairs because the kids are going crazy. Oh, I do want to mention though, we are definitely taking guesses on whether we are having a boy or girl and when you think the baby's going to be born. Check out the details on our blog, which is Amell.Family. It's linked in the description below. People are putting their guesses on Facebook or the blog as to whether it's going to be a boy or girl and what day the baby is going to be born. And I think it would be fun to see if anyone actually guesses it correctly. So anyways, have a good day, guys. Have a good day. Say it.